Part 74. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 731. Hearing Duan Lei's words, the fighters driving the fighter planes finally calmed down. That's right, the madman needs us, and we have to help him delay time. However, although Fuxi's fighter plane is much faster than theirs, and Fuxi's driving skills are also incomparable to them. But after this delay, there are still tens of thousands of small fighter planes rushing into the battleships of the Space Ghost in the front. But since they came in, they did not retreat. Anyway, since they came with the hope, these fighters have already regarded themselves as dead. Kill them! The hope fighters in the fighter planes shouted loudly, and then drove the fighter planes towards the enemy ship. Rikus also saw these hope fighters, but these fighter planes were not at the same level as the previous one. So Rikus just smiled contemptuously, and then said, "Battleships attack freely, small fighters, go up and let them see it." Following Rikus's order, the small fighters that had retreated before all returned again, rushing towards the fighters driven by the Hope warriors, and even rushed directly towards the Hope. The extremely tragic air battle unfolded instantly. Although these Hope warriors have been familiar with this kind of small fighters for a long time. But after all, they are still not as good as those space ghosts. So, at the moment of contact, those small fighters that rushed into the Space Ghost warships were wiped out. Fortunately, with Duan Lei's order before, the subsequent fighters directly changed their direction and restrained around the Space Ghost warships. But with the attack of those small fighters of the Space Ghost, the casualties of the Hope warriors began to increase. Even if they were just to delay time and did not fight head-on with the Space Ghost fighters, they were still constantly destroyed. This, after all, this is their first space battle. These warriors, they are not lacking in courage, they are not lacking in passion, but they really have no experience in fighting in the universe. In the past, whether they fought zombies or humans, they were fighting on the ground, in a plane. But now, they are in space, on a three-dimensional battlefield, they are used to dodging left and right, completely forgetting that they have a huge space to dodge. Seeing their fighters being destroyed continuously, Lu Feng and others behind Duan Lei closed their eyes. They did not speak to command these warriors, or let them be careful, because this had no effect except distracting their attention. At this time, several space battleships also flew towards Duan Lei. Obviously, the attack of small fighters could not break the energy shield of Hope. Seeing these space battleships, Duan Lei did not hesitate at all, and directly drove Hope to dodge, while Lu Feng operated the ship guns on Hope and kept shooting at the opponent's battleships. There are many naval guns on the Hope, and so far, the performance of these naval guns can still satisfy Duan Lei. Although they did not destroy a warship, they shot down dozens of small fighters that attacked them before. Of course, this number is far from the previous record of Fuxi, but for Duan Lei, it is already satisfactory. After all, this is the first space war they have experienced, maybe. It is also the last time. Suddenly, Duan Lei found that it seemed that those small fighters and space battleships had slowed down their attack speed on them and flew towards their flagship. Especially those space battleships that had rushed towards them fiercely before, actually turned around and flew back. What happened? Duan Lei asked in a daze. Look over there. Lu Feng suddenly pointed to the rear of the Space Ghost battleship group, where flames were constantly rising. It's the third master. Duan Lei and Lu Feng and others shouted at the same time. Then, Duan Lei shook his head and ordered loudly. All small fighters gather and prepare to assist the third master in the attack. You idiot! Why attack? Fuxi's angry voice suddenly came from the communicator. With your skills, what's the difference between you and committing suicide? Watch carefully. Following that, Fuxi stopped talking and seemed to be operating the fighter with all his strength to fight the cosmic ghost. Just now, Lucas was still sneering at the Hope. Due to the huge losses before and Fuchsie's amazing performance, Lucas decided to play with Doomsday and others like Cat and Mouse to vent his anger. If it weren't for Lucas's idea, he would have ordered the whole army to attack just now. I'm afraid Doomsday and others, including the Hope, would have been destroyed now. However, just when Lucas hadn't figured out how to entertain these weak human races in front of him, an accident suddenly occurred behind him. Fuchsie's human fighter plane appeared behind their fleet like a ghost, and then without saying a word, it directly fired at the space battleships that had not restored their shields. Moreover, Fuchsie's firing position was quite accurate, and in about 2 seconds, a huge space battleship was directly blown up. Asshole! Why is he not dead yet? And why did he appear behind us? Who of you can tell me? Rikus roared loudly. Fuchsie was able to accurately hit the most vulnerable part of his own warship, and Lucas was not too surprised by this. Not to mention that Piccolo is a traitor to the human race, and he is actually the brother of this human Emperor Fuchsie. Just saying that they also have a space battleship of their own is enough for them to know the weaknesses of their own battleship. What Rikus can't understand now is that under the gaze of so many cosmic ghosts, Fuchsie's fighter plane was not destroyed in the concentrated fire just now. Moreover, they actually sneaked around to their rear and started massacring their own warships. Due to Lucas' order just now, the space battleships at the rear of the group of Space Ghost battleships are all those space battleships whose shield systems were damaged due to the previous explosion and were unable to open the shield. In front of Fuchsie, these behemoths looked as if they were naked. Ugh! It's like a chicken with white strips on the chopping board, ready to be slaughtered. Just when Lucas angrily asked other Space Ghost Fuchsie how to get around behind them, Fuchsie had already destroyed 3 space battleships without shields. It was only at this time that Lucas realized that the most important thing for him now was not to figure out how Fuchsie got there, but to get rid of this trouble quickly. However, the cost of using the previous method now is a bit high. Because they need to be protected, the space battleships that have lost their shields are all gathered together. Moreover, the size of the space battleship is much larger than Fuchsie's fighter plane. Now Fuchsie is like a little mouse among a large group of chickens, the kind that are raised at home to lay eggs. Not to mention killing him, even finding him is a bit difficult. But if the fire is concentrated, those space battleships without shields will definitely not be spared. These warships only broke into the shield system due to rolling or the impact of the shockwave generated by the explosion, making it impossible to open the shield system. As long as it has been repaired, it will be an intact warship. Moreover, there are 200 to 300 warships gathered at Fuchsie's side. It hurts Lucas to be destroyed like this. Now it is no different than before. He had just suffered huge losses. He only had about 2,000 warships left in total and could no longer afford to lose them. And those space battleships did not react in any way because they did not have Ricardo's orders. It has to be said that the discipline of the Cosmic Ghost clan is comparable to that of Devourer. But it was their discipline and Lucas' previous rage that gave Fuchsie a good opportunity. When Rikus discovered the situation, he was actually considering whether to kill Fuchsie and these space battleships that had lost their shield protection. When Fuchsie was under fire before, although there were space battleships around him, they were all shielded, and the firepower was not concentrated on those space battleships. Especially at that time, there were about 10 space battleships beside Fuchsie's small fighter plane. Even if they were all killed, Rikus wouldn't feel bad. But is now the time to consider this? If Lucas had thought about it for a few more minutes, Fuchsie would have been able to make a decision. Because by that time, Fuchsie might have destroyed all the unshielded space battleships. And now those space battleships that had lost their shields did not fight back. It wasn't that they didn't dare without an order, but Fuchsie rushed directly into their midst and attacked them. They once had 2 battleships attack Fu-11 directly with naval guns, but Fu-11 dodged them and accidentally damaged their own space battleship. There was no way, they were too crowded together, and Fuchsie's was a small fighter plane. The target was so small that it was not easy to hit it. And once Fuxi is not hit, the friendly force opposite the prince's warship that fires will definitely be attacked by its own comrades. All warships without shields will disperse immediately. Rikus finally gave the order. Other battleships, go up and surround this human race, and must kill him, no matter how high the price is. In the end, Likas did not relent. Actually, if we can focus our fire now and kill all those hundreds of space battleships and Fuxi, Likas will not hesitate and issue an attack order directly. But the problem is that if he concentrates the fire, he can only guarantee that the space battleships on his side will definitely be annihilated. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 732. As for Fuxi's small fighter plane, Rikus was not sure that it would be able to kill him. Because they had already focused their fire once, their small fighter plane suffered heavy losses, but what about the human fighter plane? With a covering attack, you can only confirm that your own side will be killed, but the enemy may not be damaged. No matter who it is, they will not do such a deal. After receiving Likas's order, the unshielded space battleships immediately dispersed and fled around randomly. Now they don't care about the direction. No matter where they go, it is always better than staying in the slaughterhouse. The cosmic ghosts are not devourers, and their social makeup is similar to that of humans. There are also descendants, relatives, and friends. Therefore, they are more afraid of death than devourers. But if they dare to disobey military orders, their families will be harmed. Therefore, they clearly saw Fuxi attacking them with all his heart before, but they did not dare to escape until they received orders. Now that they got the order, and since Rikus didn't tell them where to evacuate, they immediately dispersed. But in this way, Likas was tricked. His original intention was to have these unshielded warships evacuate in one direction, but because he was now dizzy with Fuxi's energy. As the commander of a space battleship, Rikus certainly had real qualities, but after Fuxi appeared, he made many mistakes. This is because one is that Fuxi's performance was too amazing and shocked him, and the other is that Xuan Yuan's self-destruction before. After suffering heavy damage and seeing Fuxi's ghost-like fighter plane, Likas could no longer maintain his previous composure. That's why his order just now was so full of loopholes. But now, he also made a fatal mistake. When the space battleships that had lost their shields fled in all directions, there was chaos, which even messed up the formation of the space battleships that had gathered to besiege Fuxi. Those space battleships that were ordered to besiege Fuxi had to avoid those battleships that were scurrying around like headless flies. In fact, we can't blame those warships, because there is no prescribed direction, and they have been frightened by Fuxi for a long time. Once they heard the order to retreat, they were like death row prisoners who had received amnesty. How could they still think of formation? This thing? In the panic, several space battleships even collided directly with each other, and both of them were broken into pieces, making the scene even more chaotic. Huh. It's just a rabble. Fuxi showed a sneer. After leaving behind the burden of the human race, Fuxi finally found the invincible feeling he had before. The former human emperor finally returned. Is it almost done? Fuxi looked at the space fleet in front of him and thought, and then taking advantage of the chaos in the space ghost fleet, he immediately turned on the communicator. Duanlei. Take back all your fighters and stay where you are. I will try to divert as many space ghost warships away as possible. As for the rest, I will leave it to you. After a pause, Fuxi said solemnly. If possible, the future of the human race. I leave it to you. Then, without waiting for Duanlei's answer, Fuxi turned off the communicator, and following the chaos in front of him, he drove the fighter plane directly into the middle of the group of space ghost battleships. After flying a fighter plane and firing several energy beams at Likas' flagship, Fuxi's fighter plane drew a strange pattern in the air, and then fled straight into the distance. On the way to escape, Fuchsie even had time to destroy some small fighters and 3 space battleships that had lost their shields. Ah! Likas yelled angrily. Damn it! The whole army is pursuing me. Sir! What about these humans? A cosmic ghost quickly pointed at the hope in the distance and asked. Pa! The cosmic ghost suddenly received a slap in the face. Are you an idiot? Just leave a few warships to deal with these bastards. Just let those guys without shields stay here. Destroy this warship and the brood and human warships over there. There is no need to leave any living mouth. Likas cursed angrily. Now his emotions have been completely detonated by Fuchsie, and he has basically lost his mind. Moreover, Likas had seen Doomsday's combat prowess with his own eyes before. It would be a piece of cake for those warships without shields to annihilate them. As for the human warship in the distance, if he could move it, would the human emperor still need to escape? Even a small fighter plane could defeat them like this. If there was such an ancient human on that human warship and had joined the battle just now, they might have been wiped out long ago. So Rikas didn't consider Yan Huanghao at all. Clear. The cosmic ghost, who had been slapped innocently, did not dare to speak anymore and quickly retreated. The whole army obeys the order. Likas yelled. Leave all the unshielded and powerless warships here. Destroy all the human warships and nests in the space, as well as the small warship, and then stand by here. All other warships, including ship-affiliated fighters, and I will chase that small human fighter together. We must kill him. Before Rikas finished speaking, his flagship had already chased in the direction of Fuchsie's escape. They all saw Rikas's condition now, and they were afraid that if they reacted slowly, they would be slapped, which would be light, but they would be chopped directly, which would be an unjust death. Seeing that Rikas's flagship had already caught up, the other space battleships dared not neglect it. Except for the battleships that could not move and had no shields, all other space battleships followed. And a large part of the small fighter group followed their large force and chased Fuchsie. In fact, here, Rikas made another mistake. He could have left all these small fighters to deal with Yanhuang and Doomsday. Because in the previous battle, Fuchsie had proved with his own strength that small fighters were not only useless in the battle with him, but also a burden. However, the furious Rikas had obviously forgotten the previous lesson, or he only remembered that the carrier-based aircraft of each battleship should follow his battleship according to his own inertial thinking. If Li Yingning was here, he would definitely shake his head, because he once taught his students that a commander who loses his composure on the battlefield and does not know how to control his emotions is definitely not a competent commander. Every impulsive order he gives may ruin his army. Rikas obviously did not have the honor to receive the teachings of instructor Li Yingning, so he just led his fleet and chased Fuchsie in a mess. After Fuchsie left with those battleships, the remaining space battleships were all gathered together, with small fighters outside and space battleships without shields inside, and they began to assemble again. As for those space battleships that lost their ability to move, no one paid attention to them. They just lost their power systems, and most of the shield systems were still good. In the eyes of those space battleships without shields, these guys are obviously safer. As for the few ships that were so unlucky that their shields and power systems were all damaged, it was your bad luck, so you can't blame others. It is obvious that the interior of the Space Ghost is not a monolithic entity. It is said that where there are people, there are fights. In fact, where there is life, there are fights. Regardless of race or life form, all creatures are the same. In the final analysis, it is just 2 words: survival. Whether it is power or profit, it is all for the sake of survival. The space battleships left now are still in shock, so they don't care about anything and directly take back all the fighters. First form a good formation and ensure your own safety. The human fighter just now has scared them. There is still a human space battleship in front of them. No Space Ghost dares to guarantee that their commander will not use the excuse of chasing the enemy to escape from this terrifying place with the battleships that are still capable of fighting. Even most Space Ghosts think so. They all thought that perhaps this human space battleship could fly out a few more human fighters like the one just now. So these guys adopted a defensive formation at the first time. Then they did not launch an attack immediately, although Lucas asked them to annihilate all the warships left here. But fortunately, Lucas did not set a time. In this case, they could prepare first and prepare slowly. Maybe when Lucas and his men were about to return, they would launch an attack. This would be the perfect choice. If the Cosmic Ghost did not attack, Doomsday and his men would naturally not take the initiative to attack. However, Doomsday only took back all the small fighters according to Fuchs's order, but did not retreat. Obviously, the opponent's warships now seemed a little cautious, so this was certainly not the time to show weakness. So Doomsday stopped the Hope in place and stalemate with the Cosmic Ghost's fleet. However, this situation was beneficial to them in the eyes of the Cosmic Ghost. Of course, they did not know that Doomsday and his men wanted to delay time now, but the Cosmic Ghost itself needed time. Because during the stalemate, the Space Ghosts were constantly repairing their warships. For the Space Ghosts, who were used to fighting with energy shields, they felt insecure without shields. They were waiting until all their warships had their shields repaired. Even if Rikus didn't come back, they would still launch an attack. And it turned out that what they made was a very wrong choice. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 733. Because the fleet of the Space Ghost did not move, Doomsday's Hope also did not move, but asked all the pilots of the small fighters to stand by in the small fighters. After the air battle just now, Hope suffered heavy losses. The original 2 million small fighters now only have a little over 800,000. The configuration of the small fighters is 2 people per machine, one responsible for driving and the other responsible for attacking. In other words, in the short air battle just now, Hope lost more than 2 million Hope fighters. This is the largest loss in the history of Hope Base. But the soldiers who are still alive now have no time to remember the comrades who have just been lost. Although their comrades can't even recover their bodies. Because their crisis has not passed, the war is not over yet. Doomsday knew that the battleships of the Space Ghost on the opposite side did not launch an attack because they were repairing the shields, and they also knew that when the opponent's shields were repaired, it might be the time for them to be annihilated. But Doomsday did not plan to take the initiative to attack, and even felt fortunate. Because Doomsday knew very well that except for the Hope and the remaining 800,000 small fighters in the Hope, they had no backhands or trump cards. So, no matter what the reason is, as long as the time can be delayed, it will be the biggest victory for the teammates' Hope. Meng Fei and others on the Yanhuang, as well as the human survivors on the Yanhuang, have no fear in their hearts at this time. They are only sad now. Although most of the survivors can only see the star map through the screen in their own residence, they cannot see the real war scene. But they know what those dots on the star map represent. When countless green dots emerged from the Hope, these survivors cheered. Although the number of red dots on the opposite side far exceeds the green dots on their side, because for a long time, the 2 major legions of the Hope base have left an invincible mark on the survivors of the Hope base. So, they proudly believe that no matter how many green dots there are, they are not the opponents of the red dots, because they are Hope warriors. However, as a large number of green dots disappeared, the cheers of these survivors began to gradually decrease and eventually disappeared. Instead, there was a suppressed cry. Because they knew that those disappearing green dots meant that their guardians had fallen forever on the road to protecting them. Soon, all the survivors who remained in the Hope's residential area, whether men or women, whether children or the elderly. They all knelt on their knees, facing the screen, and began to pray to the gods they believed in or did not believe in for the warriors who were still fighting and protecting them. There were even many people who had no faith at all before, and at this time, they also knelt on their knees and prayed to all the gods they knew. They didn't know if their prayers were useful, but this was the only thing they could do at the moment. And those warriors who had fought with the two legions, and the former members of the two legions, also stood in front of the screen at this time. They stood straight, like a sharp sword. But their eyes were full of tears, which was not in line with the iron blood of the soldiers. They saluted solemnly to the screen. This was them saying goodbye to their comrades. This was also the only thing they could do for their comrades. If this was in the former Hope base, in that clear water garden, no matter how powerful the enemy outside was, they would have the courage to rush out and fight with them. Because their brothers were outside, their comrades were outside. Even if they would soon face death after going out, they were not afraid. Because they had their brothers with them, even if they went to the underworld, they could join forces to turn the world upside down. But now they were in space. They could do nothing except say goodbye to their brothers. Although there were more than 2 million small fighters on the Yanhuang, they could not fly them at all. In fact, they could also rush out of their room and run to the control room, and ask Meng Fei and the others to let them go out. In this way, at least they can express their desire to join the battle. But they know that there is no meaning in doing so. Some people do things for others to see, and some people, as long as I have it in my heart, it's enough. At this time, among the space battleships on the opposite side, one battleship has already repaired the shield system, and a blue energy shield appears around his hull. Duan Lei's heart tightened, but fortunately, the battleship did not launch an attack immediately. His shield only appeared for a few seconds, and then disappeared again. Judging from the situation, he should have just been testing whether his shield was repaired. Then, more and more battleships were repaired, and blue light kept flashing. Duan Lei looked back at the mother nest, which was still motionless, and sighed in his heart. Crazy. Although I always complain that you always show up at the last minute. But this time, you'd better keep your previous habits, right? Lu Wanting and Shen Yishan were also standing behind Duan Lei at this time, and even Niu Niu was holding Rura, standing between them. After Rura rescued Lu Wanting and took away the core of consciousness of the brood guard, nothing seemed to have changed when he came back. Li Yingning didn't notice anything unusual at that time, so Rura stayed with Niu Niu. Since Lu Wanting came here, her eyes have never left the huge body of the nest. She has been praying in her heart. No matter what kind of god you are, please save Wang Feng and let him wake up quickly. As long as I can look at him again, I am willing to lose my life immediately. Maybe Lu Wanting's prayer had an effect, maybe it was the hope of Duan Lei and others that awakened Wang Feng. Just when Duan Lei saw the blue light of the cosmic ghost battleship opposite, the huge Devourer's brood finally changed. In the universe, the huge body of the Devourer's hive may be just a drop in the ocean. But at this moment, the Devourer's nest suddenly emitted a dazzling light. Perhaps, this is the last shining that the mysterious old man left for Devourer. As the light lit up, the huge body of the Devourer's hive turned into a ball of light. And the core of his consciousness, as well as the remaining bodies of the brood guards, were also reduced to ashes under the light. When the light disappeared, a figure appeared next to Yan Huang. This figure was still wearing the military uniform of the Hope base, Kanglan camouflage. However, his right hand held a huge two-handed sword, which seemed extremely incongruous with his attire. This person is, of course, Wang Feng. He still closed his eyes tightly at this time, as if he was in a deep sleep. But at the next moment, his eyes suddenly opened, and his semen burst out. Then, his hair was raised, without moving in the wind. Brush. A stream of light flashed. Wang Feng's body entered directly into the Yanhuang. While Meng Fei and others looked at Wang Feng in surprise, number 7 looked at Wang Feng with some fear. Madman. Number 7 asked. Where is the prince? Wang Feng looked back at number 7. Wang Feng now seemed to be no different from before. Instructor. Right. Number 7 nodded desperately. Isn't the instructor among the Yanhuang number? Wang Feng said, and then he was about to say something when he heard Duan Lei's voice coming from the communicator. Madman. Come here as soon as you wake up. I can't stand it anymore. Everything has been fixed. Arrived soon. Wang Feng squinted his eyes, looked at the group of space ghost battleships in front, and raised a sneer at the corner of his mouth. I will let them know what the price is. Number 7. Let's talk about the instructor's matter later. After Wang Feng said something hastily to number 7, his hair floated up and flashed on the control panel. Following Wang Feng's operation, the Yanhuang suddenly started up, then the shield lit up and flew towards the Hope. Liza. You retreat quickly, leave these bastards to me. Wang Feng shouted into the communicator. Good. Duan Lei agreed, and then immediately controlled the Hope and moved closer to the Yanhuang. Damn it! This kid woke up just in time. If it were any later, we would all be doomed. Tang Haoshan laughed and said. I want this guy to change this habit in the future and stop showing up at the most critical times. That's wrong. Lu Feng frowned and said. The instructor has also entered the nest, why is the madman the only one left now? Teach, instructor. Only then did Tang Haoshan think of. The instructor can't die that easily, can he? Although everyone in Hope Base is very afraid of instructor Li Yingning, they are still very grateful to Li Yingning. Because without Li Yingning's training, they would not have achieved what they have today, let alone the 2 legions of hope and guardianship. Duan Lei is good at internal affairs, and Wang Feng is good at fighting. Neither of these 2 people is suitable to be an instructor. Maybe Wang Feng can be a qualified commander, but at least he must have qualified soldiers to lead him. Therefore, instructor Li Yingning, in terms of importance in the Hope Base, would even surpass Wang Feng and Duan Lei. Moreover, the reputation of the instructor is definitely no less than that of Wang Feng. At least, none of the soldiers from the 2 legions dared to speak loudly in front of Li Yingning. But now, only Wang Feng appears, not Li Yingning. Could it be Li Yingning? Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 734. There was deep doubt in No 7's eyes. He just asked Wang Feng where Li Yingning was, and Wang Feng said he would talk about it later. But now they could see clearly that after the nest disappeared, there was no one there except Wang Feng. If it were anyone else, they might think Li Yingning was dead. But number 7 has Li Yingning's life node. If Li Yingning dies, that life node should disappear. But now, even number 7 doesn't quite understand where Li Yingning has gone. Said he was dead? But his life node is still there, so he is alive? Where are people? In particular, Li Yingning's life node now appears in a form that number 7 has never seen before. The life node has always existed in the core of Devourer's consciousness in the form of white bright spots. If Li Yingning dies, then this life node should be extinguished directly and disappear from the core of his consciousness. But now Li Yingning's life node has turned bright red. Number 7 has never seen this situation before, and has no idea what it means. But now Wang Feng doesn't say anything, and it's hard for number 7 to ask further questions. Number 7 knew that Li Yingning was Wang Feng's instructor. Even after Wang Feng knew that Li Yingning was the Devourer, he never changed his respect for him. So number 7 remained silent and buried his questions in his heart. Number 7 is out of concern for Li Yingning, the last devourer in the world besides him. Therefore, number 7 did not notice that after Wang Feng entered the Yanhuang was flying towards Duanlei and the others at extremely fast speeds. At this time, after discovering that Duanlei's hope was retreating, all the space battleships that had completed repairs began to fly towards the Hope. And after entering the shooting range, they all launched an attack on the Hope. Although the speed of the Hope is very fast, it will never be faster than the energy beam. Moreover, this was a covering attack from hundreds of warships, leaving no room for escape. Although it has an energy shield, it will definitely not be able to withstand this kind of salvo. Once hit, the Hope will have only one ending to be wiped out in ashes. Duanlei looked at the energy beams filling the sky and couldn't help but smile bitterly. He didn't struggle too much, just looked back at Shen Yishan, Lu Wanting, Lu Feng and others behind him, and then said calmly, "Madman. The future journey depends on you, we won't go with you, take care." Duanlei did not try to pilot the Hope to avoid those energy beams, because it was a covering shot, and it would be the same wherever he hit. No matter how fast the Hope was, it would not be able to fly out of the range covered by the energy beam before it arrived. Since there is no point in avoiding, Duanlei will naturally not do it. Instead of panicking and trying in vain to escape in the last stage of life, it is better to use this time to enjoy the last period of life with the people around you. Looking at Duanlei and Shen Yishan who were about to embrace each other, Lu Wanting couldn't help but reveal a wry smile. "Are you going to die soon?" Lu Wanting thought in her heart. "Feng. I'm sorry. I can't." What a beautiful thought. Before Lu Wanting could continue thinking, Wang Feng's voice came from the communicator. "You want to give up on such a big stall? There is no door." Duanlei was stunned. His arm that was about to hug Shen Yishan suddenly froze, and then he turned to look at the porthole. They saw a huge battleship standing in front of them, absorbing all the energy beams in the sky with its own shield. It turned out that when the energy beam was about to hit the Hope, the Yanhuang driven by Wang Feng had already arrived next to the Hope. Wang Feng directly used Yanhuang's huge body to block the Hope. When the energy shield is attacked, it consumes the battleship's energy. The Hope's energy has already been consumed, so it is impossible to block so many energy beams. And what about the Yanhuang driven by Wang Feng? Just kidding, even the brood was destroyed, and with the life energy that the brood had plundered over the years, would the Yanhuang be short of energy? Not to mention the coverage attack of hundreds of battleships, even the concentrated fire of thousands of space battleships cannot consume all the life energy Wang Feng currently possesses. In particular, after this incident, Wang Feng's strength has been improved again, reaching the peak of a 10th level creature. Moreover, the core of life and Xianyuan sword have been truly integrated with his body and become one. It was after such a change that Wang Feng truly understood the importance of hair to human beings. The huge life energy accumulated in the Devourer's brood for tens of thousands of years has become extremely condensed during Wang Feng's transformation over such a long period of time. It can be said that these life energies have now become the origin of life. Moreover, these life sources are all stored in Wang Feng's hair at this time. Wang Feng only now discovered that human hair has its own spatial attributes after awakening its ability. Now that I think about it, Devourer's spatial attributes can be considered inherited from humans. As for why the ancient human race, such as Fuxi and Xianyuan, did not awaken such a function, Wang Feng was not very clear. But at least Wang Feng knew that the ancient human race in the images he had seen before definitely did not awaken such an ability. Because when their hair was tapped on the control panel, it was like tapping a finger on a keyboard, without any special effects. That's right. It's a special effect. Now when Wang Feng's hair was tapped on the control panel around him, it would emit light. Because this is the life energy contained in Wang Feng's hair, which is constantly supplying the spacecraft. That's right. Its supply. Now Wang Feng's hair contains the savings of the Devourer's nest for more than 10,000 years of plunder. Not to mention 1 Yanhuang, even if there are another 100 Yanhuang, Wang Feng can instantly replenish their energy. After resisting the attack of nearly 100 space battleships of the Space Ghost, Wang Feng did not launch an attack directly, but said to Duan Lei in the hope in the communicator. Liza, you retreat first. Go to the space overlap point, leave this to me. Okay. Duan Lei agreed without hesitation, and then drove the Hope directly to the direction where the Yanhuang had stopped before. Duan Lei knew Wang Feng very well. Since he said so, he must be sure of it. Perhaps staying here will cause him a lot of concerns. So Duan Lei left directly, and Lu Wanting, Lu Feng and others in the Hope had no objection. However, when the Hope flew to the space overlap point, everyone on the Hope looked back at the Yanhuang behind them. I saw that the Yanhuang rushed directly into the battleship group of the Space Ghost as they left. And the impact of the Yanhuang seemed quite barbaric, without any dodge or tactics at all, just crashed in. And, during the impact, the cannons on the Yanhuang were still firing energy beams. What made Duan Lei and the others sigh again, and all of them concluded that Wang Feng was a pervert, was that the accuracy of the energy beams emitted by the Yanhuang was not less than Fuxi's original hit rate. Each energy beam could directly hit a warship. Although the shields of the Cosmic Ghost's warships have basically been repaired, Wang Feng's attack points are quite accurate. Each energy beam was shot at the same point on the energy shields of those Cosmic Ghost's warships. Although the energy shield can withstand the impact of the energy beam, the continuous attack at the same point obviously makes the Cosmic Ghost's energy shield overwhelmed. Therefore, before the Yanhuang, driven by Wang Feng, rushed into the battleship group of the Space Ghost, more than a dozen space battleships were destroyed by the artillery fire of the Yanhuang. Retreat! The captain of a battleship shouted loudly. Whoever wants to fight, fight him. I'm not playing anymore. I'd rather go to a military court than fight this lunatic. If Wang Feng could hear him, he would be surprised why the Space Ghost knew his nickname. However, the captain of the Space Ghost had just finished speaking when his battleship was visited by Wang Feng. More than a dozen energy beams all concentrated on attacking a point on the head of his battleship, and finally shot directly through the shield and blew up their central control room. This space battleship was directly broken into pieces, and the Space Ghost inside was naturally annihilated. Fortunately, there were no other space battleships around this space battleship, so it did not affect other battleships because of its own destruction. But Fuxi's small fighter plane made their fleet commander, Rikus, feel that a disaster was imminent. And now, the warship driven by Wang Feng is no less flexible and accurate than Fuxi, and even much higher. So, the nightmare that Rikus was worried about at the beginning finally fell on the Space Ghost fleet that stayed here. Wang Feng drove the huge Yanhuang, but it was like driving a small fighter plane. The flexible evasive ability made the small fighter planes chasing Yanhuang feel inferior. Stop! At this time, the captain of a Space Ghost warship suddenly shouted. All small fighter planes! Don't worry about us, attack the warship that is the same as us. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 735. The Cosmic Ghost who gave the order really made a correct decision. Because if they all focused their attention on the Yanhuang driven by Wang Feng, even if Wang Feng stopped the Yanhuang there, it would probably take them a long time to consume the energy shield of the Yanhuang. What's more, the Yanhuang driven by Wang Feng is quite flexible. The huge warship is actually driven by him like a small fighter. The flexibility is almost the same as the small fighter driven by Fuxi, and the firepower output of the Yanhuang space battleship is far greater than that of the small fighter. The Yanhuang driven by Wang Feng has now become the nightmare of the Cosmic Ghost fleet. From the time the Yanhuang joined the battle to now, more than 30 large and small warships of the Cosmic Ghost have been destroyed by the Yanhuang. and the Yanhuang is still unscathed so far. Not to mention consuming the shield of the Yanhuang, the attack of the cosmic ghost warship can't even hit the shield of the Yanhuang. Only the huge number of small fighters hit the shield of Yanhuang several times. However, the attack power of small fighters has no effect on the energy shield of the flagship-level space battleship Yanhuang. Just now, Fuxi did not say to use his small fighters to attack those battleships with energy shields, let alone these space ghosts. After the awakened space ghost gave the order, the other space ghosts finally understood. So, not only small fighters, but also some space battleships, all turned around and chased after the departing Hope. However, it is obvious that they thought too easily. The current commander of Hope is Duan Lei. He has just seen Wang Feng's invincible posture driving Yanhuang, and understands that Wang Feng can kill all the battleships of these space ghosts without anyone's help. At this time, he found that those cosmic ghosts actually changed their target to himself, and he couldn't help but sneer. Haha. It seems that these cosmic ghosts know that they have no hope of winning, so they want to kill us before they are completely wiped out, at least to get some money back. Tisk. Do you really think that Hope is a soft persimmon? I'll let you see how powerful Hope is. Hearing Duan Lei's words, Lu Feng and others couldn't help but be shocked. Would Duan Lei drive Hope back to fight these cosmic ghosts? Although it seems that the warships of those cosmic ghosts are like paper in front of Yanhuang, if Hope turns back like this, it will probably die ugly. Lu Feng and others couldn't help but look at each other, but just when Lu Feng was about to persuade Duan Lei, he suddenly found that Hope suddenly accelerated. It's just that Hope didn't turn back to fight those cosmic ghosts as they imagined, but continued to fly away, throwing away all the cosmic warships and small fighters that tried to attack it. Duan Lei is not a fool, how could he go back and fight those space battleships? In this respect, Duan Lei is more suitable to be a commander than Wang Feng. At least Wang Feng has never seen Duan Lei lose control of his emotions. No matter what happens at any time, Duan Lei can always keep a cool head. This strong self-control ability makes Duan Lei born with the qualifications of a commander. Damn it! Lazy eye. Is this what you said? Let them see the power of Hope. Tang Haoshan asked depressedly. Yes. Duan Lei nodded and said seriously. I just want them to see the speed of Hope. Puff. Everyone present spit out blood. This is too unexpected, right? Although Hope is a battleship of the Space Ghost, it has been carefully transformed by Xian Yuan after all. When the Hope showed its true speed, it immediately shattered the fantasy in the heart of the cosmic ghost. Damn it, how can it be so fast? The cosmic ghost who had just given the order cursed fiercely. He knew that the idea of attacking the Hope seemed impossible to achieve. And now, Wang Feng was chasing behind them, constantly destroying space battleships. Now the number of space battleships destroyed by Wang Feng has reached 60 or 70. If this continues, it is estimated that in less than half an hour, the remaining space fleet will be completely wiped out by the attack of the Yanhuang. Commander. There was an unexpected situation on our side. The human space battleship suddenly joined the battle, and the performance of that battleship was no worse than the previous human fighter, so. What did you say? After hearing the report of the cosmic ghost, Rikus was shocked. He suddenly felt as if he was poured with ice water from head to toe, and his whole body was cold. A small fighter plane had already turned their world upside down, and now that space battleship was even more terrifying than that small fighter plane? How many ancient humans were there? Didn't they say that they had lost the ability of their hair? Of course, Rikus didn't know that although there were many people on the Yanhuang, only Wang Feng was actually driving the battleship. Even the core figures such as Meng Fei were just standing in the control hall of the Yanhuang, watching Wang Feng show his might. You retreat immediately, disperse, and escape as many as you can. Rikus ordered the cosmic ghost who was communicating with him. He knew that if what the cosmic ghost said was true, then it would be impossible to compete with it with the space battleships he left behind. Instead of letting them die in vain, it would be better to let them escape in all directions, and escape as many as they can. As for going back to rescue, this Rikus didn't even think about it. The small fighter plane before had already caused heavy losses to his side, and now a large battleship appeared. If he went back to rescue, Rikus felt that maybe his fleet would be left there. Now Rikus didn't even want to chase the small fighter plane in front. Originally, Rikus thought that there was only one ancient human in that small fighter plane. Now, after hearing the report from the cosmic ghost, Rikus felt that there might be dozens of ancient humans here, and even up to 3 digits. Because the Yanhuang is a space battleship after all, but it is not as easy to operate as a small fighter plane. In Rikus's mind, it is impossible for a human to operate a space battleship as flexibly as that small fighter plane. Since there are still so many ancient humans, it is meaningless to kill the one in front of him. Rikus even felt that the ancient humans in the small fighter plane in front of him were deliberately leading them away. Rikus guessed right. He would never know that if they had not entangled with Fuxi and others after arriving here. Instead, they tried their best to attack the mother nest directly and interrupted Wang Feng's awakening process. They might not face the embarrassing situation now. Everyone, pay attention, don't chase, prepare to gather, and reunite with the fleet closest to us. Lucas finally issued an order. He didn't want to chase anymore. Moreover, he suddenly felt that since the ancient human race had appeared, he might be in danger now. It would be better to reunite with other space ghost fleets first. Only in this way can he feel safe. So, Lucas quickly sent the situation here to the headquarters of the Space Ghost and all other fleet commanders outside. He also asked the commander of the Space Ghost fleet closest to him to reunite. The long-distance communication ability of the Space Ghost is quite powerful. Although Lucas is quite far away from the headquarters of the Space Ghost, more than half an hour later, he still received a reply from the headquarters and a reply from the commander of the other space fleet. The reply from the headquarters of the Space Ghost was very simple. When they learned that the commander of one of their fleets was actually a human race, and they had just lost almost 2 space fleets, the headquarters of the Space Ghost immediately ordered all other space fleets to assemble towards Lucas. Because this is where the ancient human race was found, and the ancient human race is the biggest thorn in the heart of the Universe Ghost clan. Therefore, the Universe Ghost is ready to gather troops and come here to completely destroy the ancient human race discovered by Rikus. As for the commander of the space fleet, because he also received the order from the Universe Ghost headquarters, even if Rikus did not send a request to him, he had to come and assemble with Rikus. So, he just told Rikus that it would be better to stay where he was and wait for their arrival. Rikus actually wanted to leave here now, because he only had more than 1,000 space battleships under his command. If that human battleship came, they would probably not be able to hold on until the arrival of other Universe Ghost fleets, and would be killed by that human battleship. However, Rikus still did not dare to disobey the order of the headquarters, so he had to gather his fleet and then stop where he was and wait for the arrival of other fleets. At this time, Fuxi also felt a little strange, because he found that it seemed that all the warships of the Space Ghosts had stopped chasing him. Because Fuxi was only driving a small fighter, the communication system was not so powerful and could not contact the Yanhuang and Hope. However, from the reaction of the Space Ghost, Fuxi had guessed that Wang Feng should have completed the awakening. Haha. It seems that this kid is quite reliable. Fuxi murmured, but then, Fuxi did not try to go around and return to the previous space overlap to meet Wang Feng, but drove the fighter plane forward and soon disappeared in the vast universe. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 736. At this time, where Wang Feng and the others were, there was no trace of the space ghost, of course, if you don't count the wreckage left after the space battleship was destroyed. After receiving Likas's order, the cosmic ghosts immediately fled in all directions, and Wang Feng just pursued them casually for a while before returning directly. For Wang Feng, killing these cosmic ghosts doesn't mean much, and now he has more important things to do. When the Yanhuang ended its pursuit and returned to the space overlap point, Duan Lei's Hope also approached. Wang Feng directly drove the Yanhuang and docked with the Hope, and then stretched out the mechanical arm on the Yanhuang to secure the Hope. Later, Duan Lei and others all passed through the passage and arrived at the control hall of the Yanhuang. As for the Hope, it can be carried by the Yanhuang. Madman! What is going on? Where is the instructor? As soon as he entered the control hall, Duan Lei asked, and this question happened to be something that everyone else was more concerned about. Let me tell you what I know first. Wang Feng said. As for what I don't know, I'll ask again later. Ask? Who? Duan Lei and others were confused. You'll know in a minute. Wang Feng said. After I entered the brood and used Apocalypse to absorb the life energy of the brood. Wang Feng started to talk about his experience. When Wang Feng fell into a coma because the life energy circulating in his body continued to condense and began to transform his body. Little guy, you finally showed up. An older sounding voice suddenly sounded in his consciousness. At this time, Wang Feng was not considered comatose, because his consciousness was still awake, but he could not feel anything outside himself. Who are you? Wang Feng used his own consciousness to ask questions. This kind of exchange was not unfamiliar to Wang Feng. Wang Feng used this method when communicating with Apocalypse or the Apostle John. Me? Haha. You can call me Dong Huang. The old voice said. My name is Dong Huang Tai. Dong Huang. Wang Feng was a little confused, but judging from the name, this Dong Huang Tai seemed to be on the same level as Fuxi and others. The human Emperor Fuxi, the Tai Emperor Xian Yuan, and now there is the Eastern Emperor Tai. I wonder how many emperors there were in the ancient human race. As if sensing that Wang Feng was unfamiliar with his name, Dong Huang Tai laughed. Have you met other ancient human races? Well, I have met the human Emperor Fuxi and the Tai Emperor Xian Yuan. Wang Feng replied. Haha. It seems that these two little guys are quite strict, and they never mentioned my name. Dong Huang Tai. But they should have mentioned me, right? I gave the Xian Yuan sword to that boy Xian Yuan. Are you the dead old man? Hearing Dong Huang Tai's words, Wang Feng reacted immediately, but immediately realized that he seemed to have said the wrong thing. Fortunately, Dong Huang Tai didn't seem to care about what Fuxi and Xian Yuan called him. Haha. If that's what they call me, then I am indeed the dead old man. Dong Huang Tai smiled. Are you still alive? Wang Feng asked. Have no idea. Dong Huang Tai's answer surprised Wang Feng. Why didn't he even know whether he was still alive? Wang Feng did not continue to ask, because he knew that Dong Huang Tai would definitely explain to him. What I'm talking to you now is just a consciousness of my body. Dong Huang Tai sighed. As for my true self, I am still in the original star. It has been 100,000 years. I don't know whether my true self is still alive. Original star? Is it the mother star? Wang Feng was stunned and then asked. No. I know the mother planet you are talking about. In fact, that planet is not the birthplace of our human race. Dong Huang Tai said leisurely. Since you have met Fuxi and Xian Yuan, you must have heard them talk about the prophecy I left before, right? Wang Feng said. I've heard it. After a great disaster, go to the Pure Lands in all directions. Watch the fire from the sky destroy the world, and wait for the strange wind to come. Hold the blade of the Taewang to defeat the eternal enemy. Leave the original star and enter the world of reincarnation. Wang Fen directly told the prophecy that Fu 11 had said before. Haha. Now, Xian Yuan sword is in your hands and has been completely awakened. Half of my original prophecy has been realized. Dong Huang Tai said. And the original star in the last two sentences of the prophecy I left behind is the planet where I am now. Original star. That is the place in the universe where all intelligent creatures are born, whether they are humans or cosmic ghosts, they all come from the original star. The primordial star is located at the center of the universe. It is said to be the first planet that appeared in the universe, so it is called the primordial star. The original star is quite large, and there are countless intelligent races on it. And if you want to truly destroy the ghosts of the universe and revitalize the human race, the original star is where you must go. This is your mission and your responsibility. I don't want to go to some primitive star. Revitalizing the human race may be quite important for you, the powerful people of the ancient human race. Wang Fen directly interrupted Dong Huang Tai. But for me, I was not born in your era, nor did I experience the glorious period of the human race. I just want to kill the cosmic ghost, and then take the people around me to find a planet suitable for human life, live in peace, and continue the inheritance of mankind. For me, their safety is more important than the glory of mankind. He. Dong Huang Tai was not angry because Wang Fen interrupted him. Instead, he laughed. This doesn't seem to be a conflict. You want to kill the cosmic ghosts, right? But have you thought about it? How are you going to kill them? Although I don't know much about the situation outside, I am at least certain that the Space Ghost now has more than 15 space fleets. After learning of the existence of humans, they will definitely assemble all their fleets to attack you. It will definitely be impossible to avoid you. So, with 15 fleets, it is very likely that the number of space battleships will reach more than 100,000. What do you want to use to kill them? Just use the battleship Fuxi gave you. How do you know that Third Master gave me a battleship? Wang Fen was stunned. Because I am a fortune teller. Haha. And this is not important. If my guess is correct, you should be the only one among the human race who has restored the ability to hair. Dong Huang Tai laughed. And I also tell you, you are the only one who can restore the ability to have hair outside. I know that you care about the people around you, but if I tell you, if you take them to the original star, they will be able to restore the ability of their hair just like you. Moreover, their lifespan will also increase accordingly. In this case, will the original star be more attractive to you? Life. Wang Fen was shocked. That's right. I can tell you that your body is undergoing transformation now. After this process is completed, you will be able to reach the level of a 10th level creature. Outside of the original star, this strength should be considered top-notch and cannot be improved again. However, after the transformation, your lifespan has been extended. Although you do not belong to the ancient human race, you have at least a lifespan of tens of thousands of years. You also have relatives and friends, right? Do you hope to watch them gradually grow old and die, and you, in the end, just be alone? And, most importantly, your current strength is simply unable to fight against the cosmic ghosts. If they are not eliminated, you and the people around you, and even your descendants, will always live in the shadow of the cosmic ghosts. The grievances between the cosmic ghost and the human race started in the original star. It is not as you imagine. It was just because they lost 2 fleets when they attacked the human race's galaxy that they had a grudge against the human race. Only the top leaders of the human race and the cosmic ghost race know this. I think, Fuxi didn't tell you either, right? You can't know about this now, because it is related to one of the biggest secrets of our human race, and even the original star. What I can tell you is that the cosmic ghost will never stop until the entire human race is exterminated. In other words, we humans and the cosmic ghost are mortal enemies. The kind that will never stop fighting. Only when one of the clans is completely exterminated can the grudge between the two clans be ended. So, if you don't want to be hunted by the cosmic ghost forever, you must completely exterminate the cosmic ghost family. I said this clearly enough, right? We, and the cosmic ghost, in the original star, are mortal enemies. Wang Feng asked in shock. That's right. It can be said that the human race left the primitive star because of the cosmic ghost family, and the cosmic ghost family left the primitive star just to chase the human race. Alas! Back then, we even thought that after leaving the original star, the ghost of the universe would not chase us out. Unexpectedly, they still found us, and because of them, our galaxy and our new home were all destroyed. How do I get to the primordial star? Wang Feng asked, whether what Dong Huangtai said was true or not. Those cosmic ghosts, Wang Feng really wanted to kill them all. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 737. In fact, Wang Feng is not interested in the original star in his heart. Although it is said that it is the birthplace of the human race, and humans were born on that planet. But what does this have to do with Wang Feng? He is not an ancient human, and the glory and splendor of human beings in the past have no feeling to him at all. Wang Feng admires Fuxi and Xian Yuan very much, although Wang Feng does not know now that Xian Yuan has detonated his flagship to help him delay time and completely fell. He also does not know that Fuxi will lead away a large group of cosmic ghost warships for him. But at least, Wang Feng knows that Fuxi and Xian Yuan have been waiting for more than 20,000 years for the human race. In these 20,000 years, everything they have done has only one goal. That is the revival of the human race. For this goal, these two people can endure loneliness and solitude, and can endure everything in this world. Such people are great, and every race should have such people. But Wang Feng does not intend to be such a person himself. Admiration is admiration, but it only means that Wang Feng recognizes these two people, but it does not mean that he recognizes their approach. If Wang Feng was alone at this time, then he might fulfill their dreams because of Fuxi and Xian Yuan. But now Wang Feng is not alone, he still has a lot of friends, Lu Wanting, Hope Base, and so many soldiers who trust and rely on him. Wang Feng will never rashly take them to that original star. Although Dong Huangtai did not say it clearly, Wang Feng knew in his heart that the original star must not be a safe place. Although Wang Feng is not as smart as Duan Lei, he is not stupid. Although Dong Huangtai said that the original star is the birthplace of their human race, and all intelligent creatures in the universe originated from there. Then the question is, if this is the case, then this original star must be a planet suitable for human habitation. But why did the human race leave the original star and run to the galaxy where the mother star is located to start over? Such a large-scale migration must be very costly and dangerous. The reason why humans made this choice must be that they had provoked some enemies on the primitive star. And according to Dong Huangtai, not all humans have escaped from the primitive star. At least, his original body is still on the primitive star. Although Wang Feng had never heard of Dong Huangtai before, because he knew very little about the ancient human race. But from the words of Fuxi and others, and Dong Huangtai's address to Fuxi and Xian Yuan, Dong Huangtai's status among the human race must be not low. Fuxi and Xian Yuan are two of the three emperors of the human race, that is, one of the three giants of the ancient human race. But in Dong Huangtai's mouth, Fuxi and Xian Yuan were both called boys. The only thing about the primitive star that can attract Wang Feng now is what Dong Huangtai said, that only by entering the primitive star can the human beings of their generation reawaken their hair ability. Now Duan Lei and others may not have such a deep feeling about the function of hair. But Wang Feng now understands that this hair, which originally seemed to be useless, is definitely one of the most important organs of human beings. If Wang Feng were to choose now, he would rather choose to lose his hands and feet than to lose his hair. Now Wang Feng's body has been completely transformed, and his hair and body have truly merged. This makes Wang Feng's understanding of his hair no less than Fuxi or Xian Yuan. Now Wang Feng, if he fights with people on the ground again, he doesn't have to worry about running out of energy. The huge life energy reserves of the Devourer's nest have now been plundered by him. Even if it is used to supply energy for 100 space battleships, there is no problem at all. Not to mention supplying a human being like him who is at the peak of level 10. Now most of that life energy is stored by Wang Feng in the space of Xian Yuan's sword. After Xian Yuan's sword was fully awakened, the space inside was also surprisingly large. Not to mention that the mother nest only plundered life energy for more than 10,000 years, even if he plundered for hundreds of thousands of years, it would not be enough to fill the space of Xian Yuan's sword. However, Wang Feng did not put all his life energy in the space of Xian Yuan's sword. Although Xian Yuan's sword has now completely merged with him and is almost a part of his body, the life energy stored in Xian Yuan's sword still needs to be converted if Wang Feng wants to use it. However, there is no such trouble for the life energy stored in his hair by Wang Feng. Dong Huangtai was not surprised to see Wang Feng asking him how to get to the original star. Because he knew that no matter how Wang Feng thought, he would go to the original star in the end. This is the fate of the Lord of Xian Yuan. However, Dong Huangtai did not say this. As a great prophet of the human race, Dong Huangtai already knew that Wang Feng would appear. Otherwise, he would not have separated a clone and brought Xian Yuan's sword to fulfill Wang Feng. If you want to go to the original star, you must first find the mother star. Dong Huangtai said. Mother star? Wang Feng was stunned. Didn't you say that the mother star has nothing to do with the original star? Haha. You will naturally know it when you get to your home planet. Dong Huangtai's answer made Wang Feng very depressed. To be honest, Wang Feng didn't have a good impression of Dong Huangtai. This damn old man always pretends to be mysterious and hides his words, which is completely different from Fuxi and Xian Yuan. For Wang Feng, he was still a passionate man like Xian Yuan, which made it easier for him to feel close to him. Humph. I finally know why Fuxi and Xian Yuan call this Dong Huangtai a dead old man. Wang Feng thought to himself. However, Wang Feng forgot one thing. He was now talking to Dong Huangtai with his consciousness. Therefore, while thinking in his heart, Wang Feng's consciousness could not help but express this sentence. For it. Dong Huangtai said a little embarrassed. Little guy, I am a prophet of the human race. By leaking secrets, it may have a bad impact on me and other people involved. That's why when I tell people about my opportunities, I can't say it out loud, just like the prophecy I left behind. Only in this way can people avoid their own crisis and not be entangled by the divine punishment. So I'm used to this way of speaking, and I don't mean to offend you. Okay. Wang Feng was also a little embarrassed. After all, Dong Huangtai was a powerful human race, and the Xian Yuan sword he now owned was given to him by this dead old man. It can be said that Dong Huangtai is indispensable for Wang Feng to reach this level. Taking advantage of oneself and still cursing others in front of others, this is indeed a bit unreasonable. Well, then how do I find the mother star? Where is the mother star? Wang Feng quickly started to change the topic. This, I will tell you after you complete the awakening process. Dong Huangtai still has the kind of talkative character. If things don't come to an end, he won't even say anything even if he kills me. I can't feel my body right now. It shouldn't matter, right? Wang Feng asked again, this time he was asking about his own body. Dong Huangtai should have no excuse not to tell him, right? Could it be that he will come? You will know after you complete your awakening. Wang Feng felt that the possibility of Dong Huangtai's answer was very high. Don't worry. Your body and Xian Yuan sword are completing the awakening process together. Unexpectedly, Dong Huangtai did not hide anything this time. I didn't expect you, little guy, are so lucky to have so many life cores in your body. With these life cores, your body will be transformed. After the transformation, the benefits you will get, haha. You will be very satisfied. In fact, Dong Huangtai was worried about this matter before. Because Xian Yuan sword was brought out by him from the primordial star, Xian Yuan sword contains some chaotic energy that only the primordial star has. This kind of chaotic energy has great benefits for all creatures in the original star. But for creatures not born from the original star, the energy of chaos is absolutely fatal. Creatures born in the original star, whether they are humans, cosmic ghosts, or other creatures, are naturally resistant to the energy of chaos. The energy of chaos is the root of the entire universe. Both the earliest primitive stars and the later universe were born in the energy of chaos. Therefore, this chaotic energy can be said to be the origin of all living things. But now in the entire universe, only the primitive star has the energy of chaos. Therefore, only the creatures in the primitive star can withstand the energy of chaos. If it is a creature other than the original star, once it comes into contact with the energy of chaos, its body will be instantly decomposed by the energy of chaos, converted back into pure life energy, and eventually dissipated in the universe. Although Dong Huangtai had calculated that someone would appear who could become the master of the Xian Yuan sword, he knew that this person would definitely not be a human being born on the original star. Then, how he could resist the chaotic energy in the Xian Yuan sword became a question for Dong Huangtai. Although he knew that the master of Xian Yuan sword could not even pass the level of chaos qi. Because if you can't absorb the energy of chaos, even if you reach the original star, it will be difficult for this human being to achieve much. Now Dong Huangtai finally knows that Wang Feng actually has so many life cores in his body. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 738. After finally clearing up the doubts in his heart, Dong Huangtai was finally relieved. As for Wang Feng, he quietly began to think. Duan Lei and the others knew what happened next. Although Wang Feng slept for a long time, he did not have much communication with Dong Huangtai. Mainly because this dead old man said nothing and couldn't ask anything. In addition, Wang Feng didn't have a good impression of him, far inferior to Fuxi and Xian Yuan. So Wang Feng simply didn't bother to talk to him. When Wang Feng told everything he had experienced, Duan Lei and the others also fell silent. Their problem now is that no one cares about the problem of the original star and Wang Feng's experience in the brood. Anyway, the others are here, and they don't care about what happened in the past. Anyway, Wang Feng definitely got considerable benefits from the brood this time. The stronger Wang Feng is, the safer they will be. This is something everyone in the zombie hope base recognizes. The control hall fell into a dead silence, because what Wang Feng said to them just now was really shocking. It turns out that in addition to the mother planet, there is actually an extremely huge planet, the original star. And this primitive star is the true birthplace of humankind and the birthplace of all intelligent creatures in the universe. However, among the people in the control hall, most of them have the same thoughts as Wang Feng. That is, this primitive star has nothing to do with them. Even if there are a few people who want to go to the primordial star, they just want to see this legendary first planet in the universe. As for those who thought of settling among the original stars, not one of them. The people who can stay in the control hall now are all core figures in the Hope base, and they must definitely follow the Hope base. Lyco. Wang Feng looked at Duan Lei. Based on the comparison of strength, the war between us and the cosmic ghosts, at least with our current strength, is indeed unable to compete with them. Duan Lei frowned and said. So, if you really want to kill all the cosmic ghosts, let us and our descendants not live in the shadow of the cosmic ghosts. We really have to go to this primitive star. But we don't know much about this primitive star. According to what the madman said, the mysterious senior cannot explain in detail for some reason. So, I think we should at least visit our home planet first. Then we can make plans. Duan Lei heard what Wang Feng meant. The consciousness of Dong Huangtai should still be there now, and he might be able to hear his words. So Duan Lei didn't dare to call him old man or dead old man directly like Fuxi and Xian Yuan. Moreover, Fuxi and the others have never mentioned Dong Huangtai's name. Maybe there is some taboo on Dong Huangtai's name. So in the end Duan Lei hesitated and just called Dong Huangtai the mysterious senior. Here we can see the difference between Duan Lei and others. He has always been very meticulous in observing details. If it were Wang Feng and others, even Meng Fei would probably directly call Dong Huangtai Senior Dong Huang. In fact, Fuxi and Xian Yuan didn't call Dong Huangtai's name for another reason, not because of any taboo. I think Xiao Lei said we can give it a try, at least go to the home planet first. Lu Feng said. Yeah. I think that's okay too. Tang Haoshan also nodded and said. I hope that all the three giants in the base except Wang Feng will agree. As for Lu Qiang, he rarely expresses his opinions. So naturally no one else would object. Wang Feng looked at everyone present, took a deep breath and said. Okay. When Third Master comes back, we will go to the home planet. During the battle with the space battleship just now, Meng Fei had told Wang Feng in detail what happened while Wang Feng was sleeping. Therefore, Wang Feng now knows that Xian Yuan has completely fallen for himself, and Fuxi has disappeared to lure away the ghost of the universe. In fact, Wang Feng had already decided in his heart just now that even if Duan Lei and the others objected, he would at least go to his home planet. After all, this planet is the planet that Xian Yuan and Fuxi are more concerned about. If Wang Feng thinks the people on the home star are okay, he wouldn't mind guarding the home star for Xian Yuan and Fuxi. However, now we have to wait until Fuxi comes back, because now even the Yanhuang has lost trace of the small fighter plane driven by Fuxi. So even if Wang Feng wanted to look for him, he had no idea where to find him. Since I can't find it, of course I can only wait here. As for their planet, the fleet of Cosmic Ghost has now gone after Fuxi, and the rest have been dispersed. As for the arrival of another warship, it should arrive here first, so their planet should be in no danger for the time being. What's more, all the people in the Hope base who are willing to follow Wang Feng are already on board the Yanhuang and Hope. Therefore, no one from Wang Feng or the others proposed to return, but stayed here waiting for Fuxi's return. Time passed quickly while they were waiting. In the blink of an eye, a month had passed. During this period of time, not only did Fuxi not return, but even the warships of the Space Ghost did not appear. Because Lucas had seen the Hope driven by Duan Lei, and also knew that Xian Yuan was a human. So now all the warships of the Space Ghost have changed their previous frequencies. In other words, the detector left by Xian Yuan can no longer detect the warships of the Space Ghost at a long distance. If not, Wang Feng and his men would not be unaware of where Fuxi disappeared. Although Wang Feng could not monitor the small fighter plane driven by Fuxi at a long distance. But at least he could still see the location of Lucas's warships. Since Lucas is there, Fuxi is of course there too, so they just need to find Lucas. But when Lucas was chasing Fuxi, he changed all the signal bands without the headquarters issuing an order. If he couldn't even think of this, Lucas would not be qualified to command a large fleet. After waiting for a whole month, Fuxi did not appear, but Wang Feng always felt that Fuxi must not have fallen. Madman! Didn't the Third Master know when you would wake up, so he didn't plan to come back at all? Duan Lei looked at Wang Feng and said. He had this idea a long time ago, but he didn't say it until now. Huh. Wang Feng let out a long breath, and then said. I have a strange premonition that I will definitely see the third master again, and even Xian Yuan can still see it. So, let's wait here. Anyway, I have obtained the life energy of the mother nest now, and we can afford it. You'd better not wait. Before Duan Lei answered, Dong Huang Tai's voice sounded in Wang Feng's consciousness. Now Dong Huang Tai's consciousness remains in Xian Yuan's sword. In the space inside Xian Yuan's sword, Dong Huang Tai opened up a place for his consciousness. Before Wang Feng's body was transformed, Wang Feng's consciousness was talking to Dong Huang Tai there. At that time, if Wang Feng's consciousness had not been received by Dong Huang Tai, it would have dissipated long ago. Because he was not born on the original star, he had no resistance to the chaotic energy. The life core could protect his body, but it could not protect his consciousness. So Wang Feng could not feel the condition of his body at all, because his consciousness could not be explored at all. It was not until his body transformation was completed that Dong Huang Tai put Wang Feng's consciousness back into his body. Because at this time, the chaotic energy had been mixed with Wang Feng's body, so of course it would not harm his own consciousness. And Dong Huang Tai was just a consciousness, and he did not have a mechanical body like Fuxi to carry his consciousness. So Dong Huang Tai could only continue to stay in the space he opened up in Xian Yuan's sword. So now Dong Huang Tai is in a similar state to the previous Apostle John, but he is not like Apostle John, who can control the original apocalypse. Because Apostle John was regarded as a weapon spirit by Tiankai, but Dong Huang Tai was not. Dong Huang Tai is now in Xian Yuan's sword, and at most he is just a resident. Hearing Dong Huang Tai's words, Wang Feng was stunned, then winked at Duan Lei, and then began to talk to Dong Huang Tai. Why don't you wait? Fuxi, that kid won't come back. Dong Huang Tai said. Although your companion's guess is not quite right, at least his meaning is correct. Even if Fuxi knows that you have completed the awakening process, he still won't come back, he still has his things to do. So, I advise you to go to the mother planet first. Waiting here is just a waste of time. After hesitating for a while, Wang Feng reluctantly nodded. But the location of the mother planet? You don't feel it? Dong Huang Tai asked in surprise. You are now completely integrated with the Xian Yuan sword, and the Xian Yuan sword has also been completely awakened, so now you can completely control the Yanhuang. Wang Feng was stunned, and then understood that it seems that this Yanhuang is also a foreshadowing left by Dong Huang Tai a long time ago, just like the Xian Yuan sword. After Wang Feng tapped his hair a few times, he found a new star map. Crazy. Where is the prince? Seeing this, number 7 asked hurriedly. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 739. Number 7 had been planning to ask this question since Wang Feng just came out, but Wang Feng didn't say anything, as if he was avoiding something. Before, number 7 thought that there were too many people here and Wang Feng wanted to keep it secret, so he didn't ask again. But after waiting for a month, Wang Feng didn't tell him where Li Yingning was, and he was ready to leave. So, number 7 started to get anxious and asked directly. The instructor. Wang Feng looked at number 7 and sighed heavily. When I was in the mother nest before, I didn't know that the instructor had also entered the mother nest because I was completely unconscious. And after I woke up, you also saw that except for me, whether it was the mother nest or the mother nest guards, all. As for the instructor. Wang Feng walked over and patted number 7 on the shoulder. There is a strange energy in the Xian Yuan sword. I'm sure that the instructor can't resist that energy, so. Number 7 was stunned. Such a powerful prince, actually died? But if you think about it carefully, even the mother nest and those mother nest guards were reduced to nothing under the huge energy impact at that moment. No matter how powerful Li Yingning is, can he be stronger than the mother nest? The strange energy that Wang Feng mentioned is naturally the chaotic energy, because the chaotic energy drove all the life energy in the mother nest at that time. Therefore, these life energies have become the nightmare of almost all creatures in non-original stars. Even Wang Feng's consciousness was pulled into the space of Xianyuan sword by Dong Huangtai, which saved him. And Li Yingning and the mother nest and other devourers, of course, will not be treated by Wang Feng. Therefore, the moment Wang Feng woke up, except for Wang Feng, all the creatures in the mother nest, including the mother nest, were all turned to ashes. Wang Feng naturally thought of this a long time ago, so he has been avoiding this topic and did not tell number 7 directly. But now he is about to leave. If he doesn't make it clear, it will definitely not work. No. Number 7 suddenly raised his head, looked at Wang Feng and said, "The prince's life node has not disappeared. Although there are some changes, if the prince is really dead, his life node will definitely disappear." What? Wang Feng suddenly grabbed number 7. "You said that the instructor left a life node in your consciousness, and it hasn't disappeared yet." Wang Feng certainly knew the existence of the life node a long time ago. It was based on this that he knew that the mother nest guards did not die, but escaped into outer space. So for the life node, Wang Feng was interested at the time and specifically asked Li Yingning about it carefully. This life node seems to be similar to the soul jade slip in some novels. As long as the person who left the soul jade slip dies, the corresponding soul jade slip will break. Putting it on the life node is the same as that, but it is not broken, but disappears directly. Unfortunately, Wang Feng studied it for a long time and finally confirmed that this life node can only be used by the devourer, and humans have no chance with it. Although the final answer disappointed Wang Feng, at least Wang Feng's understanding of life nodes was already very deep. He certainly knew that if Li Yingning died, then the life node he left in No 7's consciousness could not exist. But the surroundings were all empty space, and it was clear at a glance that there was not even an asteroid. If Li Yingning was still alive, he should have appeared after a month. Number 7. Follow me. Wang Feng suddenly thought of a possibility, so he pulled number 7 and ran out of the control hall. After a while, a small human fighter took off directly from the Yanhuang and entered the space. In the small plane, there were naturally number 7 and Wang Feng. Wang Feng suddenly remembered that Li Yingning also had a life core in his body, although the life core he got was not as big as his own. But it was able to allow the prince of the devourer to break free from the control of the mother nest and become a free devourer, so it should be quite big. Dong Huangtai said that the life core can help its owner resist the chaotic energy. Then Li Yingning certainly has a chance to survive in that violent energy. Maybe his life core is relatively small, so he can't save his body, but as long as his body and consciousness core are still there, it is not difficult for Wang Feng to repair his body. Now Wang Feng just hopes that because of the violent energy at the beginning, Li Yingning's body was assimilated. So although Li Yingning is not dead, because this is space, he can't get life energy to repair his body. So now Li Yingning's body or consciousness core should still be floating in the universe. Wang Feng just hopes that Li Yingning's consciousness core has not floated too far. After all, a month has passed. And the devourers, even if only consciousness is left, can sense and communicate with each other. Because devourers originally communicated only with consciousness, language is only auxiliary for them. The reason why devourers often use language to communicate with each other is of course Swan Yuan's deliberate act. Because he knew that at some point, the devourer he created might encounter his own race. If they all communicated with each other using consciousness, it would naturally not be a good thing for the human race. That's why Xianyuan made some changes to the devourer's genes when he created the devourer, making them unconsciously like to communicate using human language. Anyway, the devourer would be exiled to the universe after being created, so Xian Yuan was not afraid that this problem would be discovered by the high-level members of the Cosmic Ghost. Wang Feng drove a small fighter back to the location of the mother nest, and then began to expand the range in circles. Because he didn't know how far the devourer could sense its own kind in the universe, Wang Feng circled very small, and then expanded the search diameter little by little. Because the Yanhuang space battleship was too large, Wang Feng believed that as long as the instructor Li Yingning was still alive, even if there was only one consciousness left, he and number 7 would be able to find him. However, as the search diameter expanded, Wang Feng and number 7 became more and more desperate. Number 7 never felt Li Yingning's presence. "Boy. 2 months have passed, you should hurry to the mother planet." At this time, Dong Huang Tai was already a little impatient. Wang Feng had agreed to go to the mother planet before, but in the next 2 months, he just drove a small fighter plane and wandered around here. If this goes on, when can they reach the mother planet? And reaching the mother planet is just the beginning of their journey. Next, they have to go to the original star. As the owner of Xian Yuan sword, this kid should put the human race in the most important position. Why is he wasting so much time for a prince of a foreign race? When you awakened before, all the creatures around you had already died out, even the mother nest was gone. Could the prince he gave birth to survive? Dong Huang Tai calmly helped Wang Feng to analyze. He felt that it seemed that this little guy of the human race valued the prince of a foreign race very much. So Dong Huang Tai tried hard to prove that Li Yingning was dead, trying to make Wang Feng give up as soon as possible. "I told you that any creature that was not born on the mother planet has no ability to resist the chaotic energy. Even a trace of it is enough to kill him instantly. You rely on the life core in your body, which allows you to be unscathed and get a lot of benefits. The prince doesn't have this good thing, so he must be dead. You'd better not waste time anymore." "Humph. Don't worry about it." Wang Feng snorted in his consciousness, and then directly closed the space of Xian Yuan's sword, and stopped listening to Dong Huang Tai's nagging. Dong Huang Tai didn't know that Li Yingning also had a life core, because no one had said it. Besides, Dong Huang Tai is now in Xian Yuan's sword, just a tenant. If he doesn't get Wang Feng's consent, Dong Huang Tai can't use his consciousness to observe what's happening around Wang Feng. Just like now, as long as Wang Feng wants, he can close the space where Dong Huang Tai is. In this way, Dong Huang Tai was locked in a small black room. Although the Xian Yuan sword was brought out from the primordial star by Dong Huang Tai before, he was not the creator of the Xian Yuan sword. So when Wang Feng and the Xian Yuan sword were completely integrated, Dong Huang Tai was completely helpless against Wang Feng's current behavior. Even if Wang Feng wanted to kill Dong Huang Tai's consciousness now, he didn't have to do it himself. He just needed to move Dong Huang Tai's consciousness out of the Xian Yuan sword with a thought. It wouldn't take long for the wandering Dong Huang Tai's consciousness to slowly dissipate because there was no carrier. Dong Huang Tai's consciousness was in Tiankai before, but he couldn't appear before Tiankai was completely unsealed and became Xian Yuan's sword. He couldn't even communicate with Wang Feng, which means that the spirit of Tiankai before was not him. After Xian Yuan's sword was finally restored, the space where Dong Huang Tai was located was opened, and Dong Huang Tai's consciousness finally awakened. Number 7. After sealing off Dong Huang Tai's consciousness, Wang Feng said to number 7 behind him without even turning his head. "I have a more important question for you." Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 740. When number 7 heard Wang Feng's words, he did not speak, but looked at Wang Feng. He wanted to know what other important issues Wang Feng had now besides the whereabouts of Li Yingning. Number 7. When the instructor was in the brood, were you able to communicate consciously at any time? Wang Feng asked. Of course, you can do it at any time, because at that distance, For us devourers, there is no difficulty at all in communicating consciousness. Number 7 replied. That'll do. Wang Feng seemed to be relieved, and then he looked back at number 7 and saw that while he was talking to him, he was still searching carefully for traces of Li Yingning. Okay. Number 7. No need to look for it, the instructor is fine, but he won't show up for the time being. Wang Feng said seriously. Why? Number 7 asked in confusion. Number 7. Do you believe me? Wang Feng did not answer number 7. Instead, he asked number 7 a question. Number 7 said nothing, just looked at Wang Feng and nodded. That's good. Wang Feng also nodded. I have already made a guess about the instructor's whereabouts. Although I am not sure, I am at least 80% sure that the instructor is fine. I think you are very aware of how powerful the instructor is, even though in the original environment, even the mother nest fell. Normally speaking, the instructor also died in the brood, so there seems to be no accident. But no matter what, even if the instructor dies, he will definitely have a premonition before, and you can still communicate casually online at that time. The instructor didn't give you a warning or leave any words. I don't believe this is because the instructor didn't have time to do anything before he died. Besides, the instructor's life node is still there. This is enough to prove that the instructor is still alive. It's just that it's not convenient for him to come out now. I don't know the reason, but I trust the instructor, so since he doesn't want to appear in front of us now, I won't force him to come out. Perhaps, there was someone among us who made the instructor suspicious or scrupulous, so the instructor went to the dark side. We will return soon. After we return, number 7, you cooperate with me and we will act out a scene together. Then, about the instructor, no one of us should take the initiative to mention it in the future. Until, the day the instructor appears in front of us, I think the instructor should give us a surprise. Only the two of us know about the instructor's affairs, including the conversation we just had. Is that okay? Wang Feng looked at number 7 seriously and asked, his eyes seemed to be pointing. Number 7 looked at Wang Feng with doubts in his eyes. He pointed at Wang Feng and opened his mouth, but did not speak. Don't worry. The consciousness of that old man in Donghuang has been closed by me, and he can't feel ours. Wang Feng knew what number 7 meant, so he directly said that Wang Feng did not hide the existence of Donghuang Tai from Duan Lei and number 7, so they all knew that there was a powerful human being in Wang Feng's body. Consciousness. Good. Number 7 hesitated again, nodded, and said nothing more. I don't know if Wang Feng's number 7 is correct, but at least Li Yingning's life node is still there. Even if it changes color, at least he should not die. Especially now that he, Wang Feng, has been exploring for such a long time around the place where the mother nest disappeared, Li Yingning's consciousness will never wander so far away no matter what. So now number 7 could only choose to believe Wang Feng, but looking at Wang Feng's eyes, number 7 seemed to have guessed something, but number 7 did not ask. After getting no 7's consent, Wang Feng immediately piloted the fighter plane and flew towards the Yanhuang. And on the way, Wang Feng talked about how they would explain the instructor's whereabouts to Duan Lei and the others after they arrived at the Yanhuang. The small fighter jet quickly entered the Yanhuang, and then Wang Feng entered the control hall with number 7. Seeing that only 2 people came in, Duan Lei and the others looked sad, but they still looked at Wang Feng and number 7 with hopeful and questioning eyes. Although Li Yingning did not appear with the 2 of them, it did not mean that Li Yingning was dead. Li Yingning is a devourer. As long as the core of consciousness is still there, even if the body and body disappear, there is still a possibility of resurrection. However, Wang Feng shook his head at them, making their hearts sink. Li Yingning didn't show up often at Hope Base, nor did she participate in battles. He never even cares about things in the Hope Base. But in everyone's hearts, Li Yingning is still a core member of the Hope Base, and in their hearts, Li Yingning is also their instructor. No matter whether it is the core members or the Hope Warriors, there is no one who has not been severely trained by Li Yingning. When receiving training from Li Yingning, for them, that feeling can only be expressed in 4 words: life is worse than death. However, after experiencing countless battles, each of them knew that without Li Yingning and his cruel and almost purgatory torture, they may have fallen by now. Therefore, these people are still full of gratitude and respect for Li Yingning. Because of this, Wang Feng and number 7 went out to search for so long, but no one raised any objection. Instructor, he. Tang Haoshan was the first to ask. The instructor has fallen. Wang Feng said with a bitter look. Our search range is large enough. If the instructor is within our search range, number 7 will definitely be able to sense him. But it doesn't exist now. It only means that the instructor has completely fallen. Madman. Didn't number 7 say that the instructor's life node has not disappeared? Then the instructor must not have died. Lu Feng actually asked, which made Wang Feng give Lu Feng a strange look. When did this guy start caring about others? I said before that there is a strange energy in the Xianyuan sword. Even I can withstand that energy because I have a life core in my body. As for the instructor, although he has also obtained life cores, I think the quantity is not enough, so. As for why the instructor's life node has not disappeared in No 7's consciousness, I think it must be related to that mysterious energy. Maybe it's because of the collision of the mysterious energy with the life core in the instructor's body that the instructor's life core did not disappear, but changed color. Number 7 also said that life nodes will either disappear or remain unchanged. There should not be such a situation where the color changes. And that mysterious energy is the chaotic energy I mentioned before. It comes from the original star and is known as the source of everything in the universe. With the addition of this kind of energy, any kind of strange ending may happen, and the most practical problem is that we can't find the instructor. Number 7. Could it be that the life nodes of the brood and other brood guards have also changed colors instead of disappearing? Tang Haoshan turned to number 7 and asked. Have no idea. Number 7 shook his head. I was just a predator at first, the lowest combat unit among the devourers. How could I be qualified to have the life nodes of the brood and the brood guard? This kind of thing doesn't even exist at the level of the devourer commander. Only the brood guard, and the prince have it. For the brood, these beings are the only ones who are the real devourers. We are just cannon fodder. The prince's life nodes were given to me after I devoured the brood guard's body. I only have the prince's life nodes. And this is my first time coming into contact with this thing. I don't know much about it, and it's even more impossible to compare it with the life nodes of the brood. After hearing No 7's words, Tang Haoshan suddenly sat down on the ground like a deflated rubber ball. Could it be that invincible instructor is just like that? Okay. The instructor has left. Let's not mention this matter. Duan Lei spoke at this time, and then looked at Wang Feng. Third Master, he. Because Wang Feng had switched out a new star map before, Duan Lei naturally guessed that Wang Feng was preparing to leave and no longer wait for Fuxi. The Third Master should still be alive, but he will not return. As for whether I can see him again in the future, I don't know. Wang Feng said. Let's set off. Go directly to the home star. Good. Duan Lei looked at the other people and saw that no one said anything, so he nodded and said. Duan Lei already felt something was wrong at this time, which was about instructor Li Yingning. Regarding the instructor's death, Duan Lei felt that Wang Feng's explanation was a bit far-fetched. And No 7's expression wasn't quite right either. Number 7 and Li Yingning were the last two devourers in the world after the fall of the brood. If the instructor dies, number 7 should not be in this mood. Although number 7 seemed to be hiding it well, Duan Lei still saw a trace of relaxation and expectation in No 7's eyes. This is also because the devourer is not a human being. Perhaps only humans in this world can completely hide their emotions. The inside is completely different from the outside. Such a situation only occurs in humans. But Duan Lei didn't say anything. Since Wang Feng wanted to hide it, he just pretended not to know. Wang Feng must have had his concerns when he did this. Duan Lei thought of this and looked at everyone present. Could it be that, we have a traitor here?